I'm back with another episode of Crazy People. Uh, I, I keep seeing this story everywhere I look, everywhere I turn, so I'm just going to talk about it. This is the case of Tyre Nichols, who was killed by 5 Memphis police officers. So let's get right into it with this article from CNN. Nearly 3 weeks after a traffic stop in Memphis, Tennessee, resulted in a violent arrest and subsequent death of a driver, the police are expected to release footage of the incident to the public. Mr. Tyre Nichols, a 29-year-old black man, was hospitalized after the arrest on January 7th and died 3 days later from injuries sustained. According to police, 5 officers from the Memphis police, who are also black, were fired and face criminal charges. Wow. So he got stopped from a traffic stop and ends up dying. All too familiar. The family of the Nichols and attorneys have met with the police and city officials to view the traffic stop's video recordings, which have been described as a vicious, prolonged beating that lasted for minutes after officers chased down a fleeing Nichols. So, wonder if they started to beat him first, then he ran, or if he ran first and then they were mad because he ran and then they beat him. I wonder what happened. It doesn't really say, but it say that the beating lasted for minutes, and I'm sure they weren't using their fist. They were using weapons. The Memphis police chief, Sarellin C.J. Davis, decried the officers' conduct, adding additional officers continue to be investigated. This is not just a professional failing, Davis said. This is failing of basic humanity toward another individual. This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane. And in the vein of transparency, when the video is released in the coming days, you will see this for yourselves. After charges were announced Thursday, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland said of the accelerated investigation, "We have worked to get a resolution to these matters in record time because we take them extremely seriously. Here's what we know about the timeline of the incident, investigations from authorities, and reaction from the Nichols family." On January 7th, at approximately 8:30 p.m., officers pulled over a vehicle for suspected reckless driving, according to a statement from Memphis police. A confrontation occurred between officers and the vehicle's driver, later identified as Nichols, who then fled on foot, according to Memphis police. Officers apprehended him and another confrontation occurred, resulting in Nichols' arrest, police said. An ambulance was called to the scene of the arrest after Nichols complained of shortness of breath, police said, and he was transported to a nearby hospital in critical condition. They beat him that bad just because he ran? Now, granted, you should never run from the police. That's just making things worse. Unless they start to hit him first for no reason, and then that's just a normal reaction to flee away from danger. But if you just start running because you got stopped, that's not a good idea, especially if you're black. A black man running, and it doesn't matter if these officers are white or black. They're all gonna act the same. Following the traffic stop, the officers involved were relieved of duty, a standard procedure while an investigation into their use of force began, Memphis police said. The TBI and the Shelby County District Attorney's Office were also enlisted to investigate. Preliminary findings indicated the serious nature of the officer's conduct during the stop, police said. After reviewing various sources of information involving this incident, I have found that it is necessary to take immediate and appropriate action, Chief Davis said in a statement released on January 15th. Today, the department is serving notice to the officers involved of the impending administrative actions. The department needed to follow a required process before we discipline or terminating the government's civil servant employees, the statement added. In the days after Nichols' death, his family's attorney, Ben Crump, repeatedly voiced the desire for the release of body camera and surveillance footage of the traffic stop. This kind of in-custody death destroys the community trust, and agencies are not swiftly transparent, Mr. Crump said in a statement. On January 18th, the Department of Justice said a civil rights investigation has been opened into the death of Nichols. Last week, Tyre Nichols died a few days after he was involved in an incident where Memphis Police Department officers used force during his arrest. Mr. Kevin G. Ritz, U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Tennessee, said in a statement, acknowledging the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation's ongoing efforts, the U.S. Attorney's Office, in coordination with the FBI Memphis Field Office and the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, has opened a civil rights investigation, Ritz said, declining to provide further details. After its internal investigation, Memphis police identified and fired 5 officers involved in the traffic stop due to the violation of multiple department policies. I don't know how to say all these guys' names, but I'll try. Officers, I'll just say Bean, Haley, Martin, Mills, and Smith were terminated for failing in their excessive use of force, duty to intervene, and duty to render aid, the department said in a statement. The egregious nature of the incident is not a reflection of good work our officers perform with integrity every day, Davis said. A statement from the Memphis Police Association, the union representing the officers, declined to comment on the terminations beyond saying that the city of Memphis and Nichols' family deserve to know the complete account of the events leading up to his death and what may have contributed to it. The Nichols family attorneys Crump and Antonio Romanucci called the firing of the 5 officers the first step towards achieving justice for Tyre and his family. 2 Memphis Fire Department employees who were part of Nichols' initial patient care were relieved of duty while an internal investigation is being conducted, Department Public Information Officer Juanisha Ward told CNN's Nadia Romero. Why were the fire department employees fired? What did they do? Damn. That's strange. After meeting with officials to watch the unreleased police video of the arrest, the Nichols family and the attorneys described their horror at what they saw. He was defenseless the entire time. He was a human pinata for those police officers. It was an unadulterated, unabashed, nonstop beating of this young boy for 3 minutes. That is what we saw in that video, Romanucci said. Not only was it violent, it was savage. What I saw on the video was horrific. Ronnie Wells, Nichols' stepfather, said Monday, no father, mother should have to witness what I saw today. Mr. Crump described the video as appalling and deplorable and heinous. He said Rovon Wells, Nichols' mother, was unable to get through viewing the first minute of the footage after hearing Nichols ask, "What did I do?" At the end of the footage, Nichols can be heard asking for his mother 3 times, the attorney said. Wow. According to the results of an autopsy by attorneys for his family, Nichols suffered extensive bleeding caused by severe beating. CNN has requested a copy of the autopsy, which Crump said will be available when the full report is ready. Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy told CNN on Tuesday his office was ensuring all necessary interviews with those involved had been conducted before the footage release. A lot of people's questions about what exactly happened will, of course, be answered once people see the video, Mulroy said, noting he believes the city will release enough footage to show the entirety of the incident from the very beginning to the very end. Okay, that's enough of that on it. Well, this is really not anything that's uncommon. The police are always shooting somebody, always beating somebody, always not doing their job the right way. But what can we do? Are we going to storm the Capitol again? Going to storm the police station? What can we do to really stop police brutality? What can we do? I don't know, man. It just keeps happening. It's just normal. It's just normal to me now. It's like when I see I see a mass shooting, it's like normal these days. I don't even blink an eye. I don't flinch. Because that's how crazy this world is right now. Oh, somebody got shot. 8 people were shot. That's normal. It's normal in our country that these things happen. So, I don't have the answers. I don't know. I mean, it's not like you can actually know exactly how a person is if you hire them for a job like that. Like if you're an officer of the law, you should have like some type of integrity, morals, those type of things. But these days, it's just a job to people. They do it for a paycheck and to have little power over people so they can get away with stuff. And that's just the world we live in. Some people are just evil and they do things like this. And they're going to keep doing things like this unless there's harsh consequences. Harsh. If they're not, it will continue. But I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Crazy People. Oh, man.